Good morning. I don't talk too much about this kind of crap because I think it's below me. I think it's below my audience. But I'm on Truckers Report once in a while. The news. I don't really read the forums, the news. And I guess Walmart's doing something now with robotic trucks. I didn't know this. They've been having to run this little 2 mile area just from like a DC to a fulfillment center back and forth. Box trucks, no trailers. Safety pilot, a driver in the truck, but the truck is driving itself. Now they're taking the safety driver out, and they're going to move. They're going to expand the program to another area, which is kind of flat between. It's in Louisiana. These two spots, two stores. Story report. You want to talk about robot overlords, bad weather, who's going to fuel, who's going to drop the trailers. Okay. First of all, the article talked about box trucks. So there's no trailers. Second of all, I've been to a lot of places where when you back into a door, they put a lock on your glad hand, so you can't move the trailer anyway. So in the future, you can just have that guy go out there and unhook the trailer, roll it down. You already have people at the Walmarts whose job is to unload the truck. Would it be anything else to just go out there? Hey man, go out there, roll it down, unhook it, and you could have sensors on the truck to know whether the truck is still hooked up or not, to see if like the glad hands are they hooked back up. When I haul gas and you hook up stuff to the truck when you're pumping, when you're loading the truck with fuel, there's sensors to make sure everything's hooked up. And until everything's hooked up, you don't get a green light. If it's a red light, you can't load the truck. Sometimes the sensors malfunction, but the point is you can put the same thing on those trucks. This shit's not hard, guys. Oh, it's gonna shock the rednecks. When I worked for HD Supply and we would fuel at a Penske, guess what? They fuel the trucks for you. Oh man, that's a shocker, ain't it? So I've already explained to you how half of the things could be done. Now, I think long term, 10, 20 years, the future of autonomous trucks will be over the road. For the most part. And I think it'll be like, you'll have customers who have huge lots who will have autonomous trucks just moving trailers around and stuff like that. I don't find it hard to believe at all. I think that for the most part, we're further along than they want to believe. I was reading the comments. Guys were complaining about our creator designed us to work and all this other kind of bullshit I'm hearing them read. Let's break all this down. I don't believe God created you to work 3 weeks straight with a 34-hour reset, like once every couple of weeks, busting your ass, living in the back of a truck. That's what he's trying to say. No dice. I get what he's saying. I get his point. Maybe he has a point there. Also, let's get to the meat. This is what I was talking about here. When I'll be around truckers, and they would talk about autonomous trucks or the autonomous the self checkouts at the Walmart, I always say, so you don't like capitalism? I always say that. You don't like capitalism? And they get quiet real quick. See, I read all those comments, and all of it's like, these corporatists, they want to push us out. No. Baby, this is capitalism. This is how it works. I want to make as much money as possible. Now, years ago, like in the 80s and the 70s, it was about dumbing it down to where there was much less specialized work and much more just general, just any walking stuff. Just press a button and pay them less. That was the march to the bottom. Now we're looking at taking the driver out of the truck, period. It always gets me with conservatives how they can push this idea that they're capitalists without capital. That's like to say it. They're capitalists without capital. These are billionaires. These are people who are trying to cut costs wherever they can. You know, folks don't like it. A lot of folks in the South don't like it. But honestly, it was a matter of time until we started seeing this kind of stuff. Now, I think certain niche jobs are going to be, you know, drivers for a very long time. Like when I worked for HD, you ain't going to have no robot doing no flatbed. And you ain't going to have no, these companies are not going to, these companies are driving trucks that still have cassette players in the 2000s, 2020s. So, you know, no one even knows what a tape is. Yeah, I mean, you see my point? So, we are, we're far from that. We're far from that. Like I said before, I think it's over the road. I think it's the fact that these rednecks, they like that life. See, a lot of them go over the road. They're really racist, man. They go over the road to get away from us. They get over the road, they don't have to deal with people and stuff like that. See, I liked over the road because when I came back in 2017, I did like the tourism. Like I've seen the Grand Canyon, I've been to Vegas, I've been to California several times, you know. I like that. That's not how those guys are. I call them mummies. These motherfuckers stay in the truck for a month. Don't do nothing but watch TV, want to talk about sports and shit like that. That's it. I call them mummies. These people we're talking about. And so the world has passed them by. Once again, I look at it as needing to diversify yourself. I got my hazmat, twig, doubles, tank. You got to diversify yourself for the future. This is, to me, another white aggrievement thing that I'm losing something, so I'm going to go out and piss and moan about it instead of being upset about what hyper-capitalism is and what it's been doing. Because Trump ain't done nothing about this. What's Trump said about this automation? Trump been talking we need more smart people and stuff. He ran on uneducated people. Now he's talking we need more smart people and stuff. That's why he wants to bring in the Indians and Europeans, white people. Yeah, I mean, let's understand this. I just, I believe that this is another example of how out of touch with reality a lot of these rednecks really are, how out of touch with current and future trends they are, the reality that much of us already face. How can you be a capitalist without capital? How do you be a capitalist and have less than $1,000 in your bank account? How do you? These niggas out here trillionaires, goddammit. Multi-billionaires. You ain't got $1,000 in your bank account, you defending Elon Musk. And then you want to come to me and cry because they decided to turn their trucks autonomous. Well, they can't drive in the snow. How are they going to drive in the rain? What are they going to do? Breakdowns. You know how many blowouts I've had over the road? At least 4 or 5. Didn't affect my driving. I had one where it was a steer tire. I had one. I was up in Jersey. Yep, remember that. Most of the time, that stuff doesn't affect your driving. It doesn't. And to be honest, when I blew my steer tire, I freaked out. Thank God nobody was around me. But the idea that a human being is naturally going to respond better to those things, that's insanity. That in and of itself is kind of insane to put forward that notion, because the stuff happens so fast. Like I said, when I worked for HD, they had guys that fueled the trucks. It wouldn't be difficult. I mean, we had a thing in Eagle, sensors on the tires, and hauling gas, and it was just a way to see if the tire was getting too hot. It was, they'd stop us because you don't want there to be too much heat to the tanker. You could have the same thing on those trucks. You could have all that computerized. We are much further along than people want to believe. Like I said, running around up in Michigan, running around in the winter, okay, that would be a problem. But that's what I'm saying is that's not like an end all be all. The technology just hasn't advanced that far. That's the point I'm trying to make, is that we can't stop this. And I wish I could get them to understand this is about capitalism. This is about the power or the lack of power thereof of labor and unions. That's the discussion you be not talking about, billion and that's the Trump shit. Oh, these rich people, they don't know they should respect America. We're Americans. There you go. It's bullshit. And Trump and what did Trump do? Cannibal pedophiles. They're pedophiles. They hate this country. They want to end Christmas. They hate God. These are those people. There's no logic there. There's no. I just look. The world progresses. Okay, these are the people that were against airbags. These are the folks that were against drunk driving laws. These are the folks that were against the Clean Water and the Clean Air Act, against the EPA. I was talking to a friend of mine last night about, I think it was in like the early 1900s, the Cuyahoga River in Ohio caught on fire. These are those kind of people. They have no thought, no concept of the world outside of what they're doing. You have nothing for them. They don't. Those people, you'll never get them to understand climate change or pollution. You won't even get them to understand pollution. That's why I say, uniting with them to me is insanity, because uniting with them is weakness. Uniting with them is like uniting with a man beating his wife. It's wrong. You can't defend it. I won't defend it. It's wrong. And when I face that, I have to respond to that. Same thing with science. I just had to speak on that for a minute. Because in reading stuff like that, it helps you to understand the mind of the reactionary bigots that we have out here. It sometimes it's hard for me to understand how a person can be so out of touch with reality, how a person can be so out of touch with the current trends, the transformations that we're facing to our markets and to everything else. It's hard, but it always goes back to that regression. Someone's out to get me. White aggrievement. I'm losing my society. I'm losing my country. Like I said, the vaccines are gonna make me gay. I said that before. That's a moral statement. When a person says to you, that vaccine will make me gay, it's one thing if I say, hey man, I don't want to get the vaccine because I'm gonna be in pain. Or I'm having a allergic reaction. Or I just might have to be out of work for the next week. I don't want to do that. Okay, that's one thing. You have to respect that. You have to respect that. Now, that's me. But if I just come out here and say, listen, man, I think the vaccine will make me gay. That's a moral statement. That is literally, I am literally saying I would rather die than take a 1% chance of being gay. That is a moral statement. You have to really think about that, what a person is saying when they say that. I mean, I think that I went off on a tangent, but I think that we forget with TB, with the diseases back in the day, they were breaking in folks' houses and holding them down, giving them shots. You've always had this. I think with social media and stuff, it's more pronounced, but you've always had this anti-intellectual, anti-science thing out here. And I think that, I guess it's gotten worse, but as the RNA technology progresses and the stuff is more and more complex, it will seem almost like magic to people. So it shouldn't surprise anybody that the rednecks would be like, I want to opt out. I don't like robot trucks. The goddamn robot overlords. The phone, the fingerprint scanner. They're trying to take my fingerprint. The vaccine's going to make me gay. The vaccine will make my kids gay. It's the mark of the beast. I understand now that this is the future. This is just what we have to face. I can't. I don't know what to say. I can say this. If you're working class and you think that billionaires are going to sit here because your dumb ass doesn't want to look at doing something else with your life, you think they're going to sit here and worry about you, you're a fool. Here's the trick. One thing Trump's tenure and all this stuff is, people can be bought. Oh yeah, people can be bought. Real talk. I mean, I like it. Especially the black vote. The black vote can be bought. That's what I learned. No one's going to boycott Walmart for using autonomous trucks. That's not happening. That's because Walmart can come out. If it was let's say that did catch some steam. Walmart can say, you know what? 25% off everything in the store for the next 6 months. Boycott over. People, you don't realize this. You don't realize the power these multinationals have. You think your little backwoods militia wannabe ass is like, people want cheap shit. Period. This idea of I'm going to get America together and we're finding God and we're finding, that's bullshit. People want cheap stuff. Period. They want cheap stuff that's easy to get. That's it, man. That's it. Like I said, you can't be a capitalist if you don't have capital. And if you look at your bank account, and less than $1,000 in that bank account, you're not a capitalist. You don't have capital. I know it feels good. These are reactionary bigots, and it feels good that they feel like they're on the side of the imperialists. They're on the side of we're bombing the brown people and we're keeping people in control. It feels good. But when you do the math and you look at the world that you're living in, you have no stake in that world. And those rednecks don't either. Thank you for listening.